Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's expert webinar of our many webinars in the Success with SAP series. Today's webinar is titled Success with SAP Get Industry Ready with SAP MM S/4HANA. My name is Siddharth and I'm from Spring People. Spring People is India's largest enterprise training provider. I'll be your moderator for today's session. Today's session will be conducted by Mr. Nishant Patil, who comes with over 20 years of experience of working in the SAP domain, and he'll guide you appropriately on how to become a successful SAP MM consultant. And we also have with us Mr. Sunil Dahima, who is the director at SAP Retail for Spring People, and he'll be here in the session to guide you and answer your queries. So without further ado, let's get started with today's session. Over to you, Mr. Nishant.
Thank you, Siddharth. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen, right?
Your screen is visible.
Okay, fine. Thanks. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining this webinar. Okay, so we'll have a small demo on what is MM, what is SAP, and other things. It's not a hi-fi demo because I mean I'm a simple person, so I'll keep the demo also very simple so that all the person, whether they are from SAP background or non-SAP background, they understand the demo what I'm presenting. Okay, so we'll start with the demo. So first of all, we should understand what is SAP. But before that, we should understand what is a SAP software. Okay, of which category this SAP software belongs. Okay, so SAP software is part of your ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, now what do you mean by ERP? Okay, so it says Enterprise Resource Planning. Now, enterprise means any organization, business, entity. Okay, resource means it can be any kind of resource, whether it's your manpower, machine, equipment, capital, time, your human resource. It can be anything. Planning means obviously you know what is planning. So, ERP software helps in planning the resource of an enterprise in an efficient way. So, this is the main purpose of a ERP. Okay, so ERP helps in planning the resource of an enterprise in an efficient way. There are many ERP packages like SAP, PeopleSoft, Barnes, GD Edwards, Oracle, and so on. Now, SAP is one of the best ERP packages which provides 100% effective integration among the different departments of an organization. This is the USP of SAP, ultimate selling point of SAP, 100% effective integration among the different departments. Okay, now these departments are called as modules in SAP. Okay, modules means the departments. Okay, what are the various modules? We'll learn after some time. Okay, now next what is SAP? Okay, so just this slide is for the brief introduction of SAP company. Okay, so SAP was started in 1972 by 5 former IBM employees with a vision of creating a standard application software for real-time business processing. So these five former IBM employees were working in a project, okay, which was a ERP project. Somehow that the IBM they scrapped that project. So these 5 IBM employees, they came out of IBM and started their own company. Now that company is called as SAP. Okay, so it is in a way lost to IBM. Okay, now what do you mean by real-time business processing? Okay, so what do you mean by real-time business processing? Okay, so real-time business processing means your real-time live telecast. Okay, so if any of you are interested in cricket match, there's a cricket match yesterday between India and Australia. We sitting in our drawing room, we're watching the cricket. That is what is the live. So similarly, SAP is also live. That means if there are any transactions which are performed, then all the related modules will be immediately affected or immediately notified. That is called as a real-time business processing. Okay, SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. So this is the full form of SAP: Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. Since its inception, SAP has issued several releases such as SAP R1, R2, and R3. The R in this release stands for real-time data processing. I have already explained what do you mean by real-time. The three in the R3 stands for three-tier client architecture. Three-tier client architecture, and those are your database, application, and presentation. What do you mean by that? Now, we'll take an example. Let us say you want to buy let us say some mobile. So what you'll do, you want to buy mobile on Amazon. So what you'll do, you will log into either the web browser or the app, Amazon app. Now in that you will search for your product, and then you will buy that product. You will place an order for that, and you will make the payment. This is how you buy that. Okay. Now the app, or the how you interact with the system, is the presentation server. Presentation is how you interact with the system. That's called the presentation, where all the processes are performed. Now the app, it has many data. Okay, so it has many models, many products. Now those data are stored in a database server, and to perform any transaction you need some kind of logic. Now that logic is built in your application server. So this is your three-tier client architecture: database, application, and presentation. These are the three servers. Okay. Now the most current version of SAP is SAP Business Suite for High Performance Analytic Appliance. So this is the full form of SAP S4 HANA. SAP S4 HANA. SAP S4 HANA. HANA. Okay. Now there is no meaning for this 4 Now since this is the latest, this is the most latest version of release, which is released by SAP. So it is called as a fourth version, 4.1. So apart from this, there is no meaning for this 4. And if you see, this is a small pictorial representation of the journey of SAP. Now, if someone has any questions, please ask me. Now, we will be going through. In our training, we will provide training on this SAP S4 HANA, which is the latest version of SAP. Anybody has any questions? Siddharth, any questions from anyone? Okay, next. Okay, next we'll learn what are the various modules in SAP. Okay, now we'll take we'll take an example, because I am taking example because if I take an example, then you will understand clearly. Okay, now let us assume you are running a business. Now what is your ultimate goal of running a business? To earn profit. Okay, you are not running a business for charity. Okay, so you want to earn profit. So how do you earn profit? By selling something, either by selling materials, or by selling some time, or by selling some services. Okay, now all this selling or your sales activities are handled by the sales department in the respective business. Okay, now that sales department is called as sales and distribution module in SAP. Sales and distribution module. Okay, now whenever you sell something, there are some financial transactions involved. Okay, now those financial transactions are handled by the accounts department in the respective business organization. Okay, now that accounts department is called as FICO, Financial Accounting and Controlling module in SAP. Okay, now if you want to sell something, then either you have to buy something or you have to manufacture something. Now all the buying activities plus your storage, that is your stores, purchasing department plus your stores department, is together called as materials management, MM, materials management. Okay, so all the purchasing plus stores activities are handled by MM. So a sales department or the sales model will be able to sell some products or items only if they are manufactured or they are procured. So procurement is taken care by MM module, and then your manufacturing is taken care by PP module. Okay, so here I have mentioned only 6. Reason is after a few minutes I'll tell you. Okay, now these first four are called as functional modules. Functional modules. Now what do you mean by functional module? The modules which are directly related to the business. Okay, business departments are called as functional modules. Let us say in any organization there will be some sales department, purchasing departments, your accounts department, your planning department, the quality department, maintenance department, warehouse department, and then so many departments are there. Now all the modules which are directly related to some department in an organization are called as functional modules. Okay, now there are some departments or some assistants which is needed to run the organization. Now that is called as the IT department, which is not directly required to run any organization because they don't earn any profit. Okay, but without them, uh, none of the organization will be able to perform the operations, because nowadays it's all software related manufacturing is going on. So they need some kind of softwares. Now those softwares are maintained by the IT department. Okay, now these kind of IT departments are called as technical modules. Technical modules. Okay, so now we have two different terminologies: functional modules and technical modules. Functional modules are directly related to the operations of a business. Technical modules are, these are like your IT department in an organization. Okay, they don't earn any profit, or they don't earn any revenue, but still we need them so that we operate or we maintain those softwares. Okay, so those kind of modules are called as technical modules. So here I have mentioned two technical modules. One is ABAP and one is BASIS. Okay, now let us assume you want to enter into some premises. Okay, now nowadays almost all the premises are access controlled. Access controlled. Now a person from an IT department has to provide you the access, okay, to get into some of the premises. So unless until you don't have access, okay, you will not be allowed to enter into that premise. Okay, now those kind of access is controlled by BASIS. BASIS stands for Business Application Software Integrated Solution. This is your BASIS module. This is a technical module. Okay, so apart from access control, they also maintain the system, the SAP system. Your hardware and software maintenance is also carried out by the BASIS consultants. Okay, and ABAP. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Now before explaining this ABAP, I'll give a brief history of what SAP has done. Okay, now SAP has done a global study of the business processes, okay, and they have come up with a solution or processes which are used in almost all the companies, all the organizations, all the sectors. Okay, now those kind of solutions or processes are called as standard solutions. Standard solutions. Now these standard solutions can be quickly implemented in any organization by doing some standard settings. These standard settings are called as configurations. Configure. Okay, now this configuration is done by any functional consultant. If the configuration is related to MM, then your MM consultant will do the configuration. If it is related to PP, then the PP consultant will do the configuration. Okay, Now, apart from the standard settings or standard configurations, there will be some unique requirement in any client. Unique requirement means they have some reports or some printouts which are not used in any other company. So since this requirement is specific to only one client or one project or one company, there is no solution from SAP, because SAP provides the solution which is used globally, not to any specific company. So these kind of unique requirements which are specific to a particular company or a project, okay, is called as a customization. Customize means customizing as per the client's requirement, fulfilling the client's requirement, which is not in a standard solution. Customizing. Okay, now this customization is done by your ABAPer. ABAPer means the person or the consultant who is working on ABAP is called as ABAPer. So this is your programming module. It uses C language. Okay, so this is your ABAPer. Okay, now if you recollect, I mentioned only 6. This is because these are the bare minimum modules which are required to run any business organization. Okay, so this PP is an exceptional, because PP is used only if you are having some manufacturing facilities. If there is no manufacturing, then PP is not required. Okay, so since PP is not required, you don't, there's no manufacturing facility, then PP is not required. But all the other modules, all the other functional modules are called as core modules, like a foundation, core modules. Okay, and these are your technical modules, without which none of the business can perform or can operate. Okay, so these are the modules. Apart from these 6 modules, in total there are 50 plus modules in SAP, all small and large major modules put together. Any questions till now? Next. Okay, next is, now we learn what is MM. Okay, MM stands for materials management. Okay, now what is materials management? SAP MM is one of the important modules in SAP ERP software. SAP MM application module supports procurement and inventory functions. Procurement and inventory functions. This is what I told you. Procurement means your purchasing department. Inventory means your stores department. Procurement and inventory functions occurring in a day-to-day business operations. SAP MM module consists many aspects such as purchasing, goods receipt, metal storage, consumption-based planning, inventory management, and invoice verification. These are the few subtopics or sub-modules in SAP MM. Okay. Now, SAP MM is fully integrated with other SAP modules such as FICO, SD, QM, PM, PP, and WM. Now, I have already told you about the integration between MMM and FICO. All the accounts or your finance related transactions are handled by your FICO module. FICO, this is your accounts department. SD stands for sales and distribution. Okay, now if any person wants to sell something, then they should either manufacture it or they should procure it. Okay, so whenever there's a requirement from a SD or SD module or a sales department, then either it will be manufactured or procured. Now here, if it is a procurement, then system will automatically generate the requirement. This is the integration between SD and MM. QM stands for quality management. This is your quality department. Okay, now, so your whenever you receive any materials, okay, those materials, there are some conditions. Okay, now if that conditions are fulfilled, then those materials will undergo quality test. Quality test. Okay, whether either it is a sample or random, or the full stock will be undergoing the quality check. Okay, now so usually what will happen is there will be a sample which is tested. Not the entire quantity will not be tested. Usually it is a sample testing. Okay, they will take, let us say you have received 10 quantities. So they will take one quantity and they will perform the test. Rest all 9 quantities, they are assumed that they are good. Okay, now this one lot or one quantity or your 10 quantity, okay, this is called as a inspection lot. Lot means your stock. Inspection means you are doing some quality test. Inspection lot. Now this inspection lot is created for all kind of materials for which quality management is activated. So this is your QM and MM integration. The activation is done in the material master material in which we are going to procure. That's called the material. So it needs to be activated. Now this activation is the integration between MM and QM. First integration. Second integration is when you receive the materials, the system will generate that inspection lot. Okay, so when this inspection lot is created, the quality department will perform those tests. These are some pre-configured, predefined tests. Okay, so and then they will come up with the test results and they will compare with their reference values. Okay, now if those tests or if those quantities fulfill the requirement, then they will say that these metals are good to be used or good to consume. If they fall short of their requirement, then they will say that this stock is not up to the mark. This will be rejected. Now this here they are doing some decision. They are deciding on the quality. So this decision is called as a usage decision. UD, usage decision. So based on this usage decision, either the metals will be rejected or the metals will be selected. Okay. Now this is the integration between MM and QM. Next is PM. PM stands for plant maintenance. Okay, so this module is implemented if you are having any kind of machines. Okay, machines, equipments, or your vehicles. Okay, any kinds of machines. Now, if you are having machines, then there will be some wear and tear. Okay, now for this one, you will perform a service. Now, this service or maintenance can be your regular service, that is your scheduled service, or it can be a breakdown service. Now we'll take an example. Okay, let us say you are having a bike or a four-wheeler. Now you will perform a regular services. Let us say after every once a year you will perform this service. Now this kind of service or maintenance is called as a scheduled maintenance. Okay, and the tests or the maintenance activities for this scheduled maintenance will be different. Okay, and let us assume there is some your vehicle has broke down. Okay, it is not starting, whatever the reason is. Okay, now this kind of maintenance is called as a breakdown maintenance. The machine has stopped abruptly, it is not running. This kind of maintenance is called as breakdown maintenance. Okay, the maintenance for this one will be a different as compared to your scheduled maintenance. Okay, now to perform these kind of maintenance activities, you need some consumables, some oils, spare parts, some so and so. Now these parts, okay, or these materials will be procured by the MM module. So this is the integration between MM and PM and MM and MM. Similarly, PM, if you want to manufacture something, then you need raw materials, packing materials, and so on. Now these raw materials or packing materials will be procured by the MM module. Okay. Next, WM. WM stands for warehouse management. Now we'll take an example here. Okay. Now let us assume we have a building. Okay. So that building is called as a building A, and there are, let us say, 4 floors. Okay. And on the third floor, there are many rooms. Let us say one of such rooms is your conference room 1. Conference room 1. And in that conference room, there are, let us say, three tables and some drawers are there. In that particular drawer, there is a laptop. There's a laptop, one laptop, or let us say there are two laptops. Okay. Now, if you run a report for this particular material at the inventory management level, that means at the MM level, metals management level, then the system will tell that there are two laptops in building number A, third floor. Okay. Now, however, if you run the same report in the sense, if you run the report for the same material at the warehouse management level, then it will tell you that there are two laptops in building number A, third floor, conference room 1, table number 3, and drawer number 4, whatever it is. Okay, so it will tell you the exact physical location of a material. Okay, so there is a difference between IM and WM. Now, WM can be called as a sister module of a MM. So WM can be implemented after MM is implemented. Okay, so and whenever you create a goods receipt, that is whenever you receive the material, system will generate something called the transfer requirement. Now this transfer requirement is the integration between MM and WM. Okay, so this is the brief introduction of SAP MM. Any questions here? Siddhar, can you check if someone has any questions? Okay, next. Next is, now I'm going to explain you a sample procurement cycle. Okay. Now again we'll take an example. We'll take an example of the same mobile which you have bought earlier. Okay. Now what we'll do? We will first of all we will decide on the specification. We will decide on the specification. That means I want this mobile or what are the priorities. Okay. Let us say mobile iPhone 14. So this is the latest version of iPhone which is launched. Okay. iPhone 14 based on whatever the RAM you are using. Okay. Now this iPhone 14 is called as a material and it has some specifications, some screen size, some RAM, some color. Okay. Now this is called as a material master. This is the most important master data in MM because you will buy that material, you will buy something if you know what to buy. Okay. So the purchasing department cannot buy any random material. They should know what to be bought. Okay. And the procurement department, the main activities of the procurement department is to buy. They don't know what to buy. Okay. Now this decision of what to buy has to be given by the concerned department, whether it is your manufacturing department, sales department, accounts department, HR department, whatever the department is, wherever the metals are required, they should inform to the purchasing department that they need this kind of material. Okay, of so much quantity. Okay, on so and so date and at this particular location. Okay, now this particular information is called as a purchase requisition in SAP. Purchase requisition. Purchase requisition is an internal document. Okay, it's an internal document. This is your internal document. Okay, so this is called as a requirement determination, where we will come to know what to buy, how much to buy, when we need that material, and where we need that material. These are the four basic information which is collected, and this is called as a requirement determination, where we will determine the requirement. That means we will determine what to be bought. Next, these two are part of your vendor selection. Okay. Now, now we have decided on the model iPhone 14, and we know who is going to supply that material. Okay. And if in iPhone cases, there are very few limited suppliers. okay, or the vendors who are going to supply it. In that case, we will directly approach them and we will buy them. Okay. Now this is called as a recurring or regular buying, where we know the supplier. Okay, if you know the supplier, then we'll directly issue the order against them. If we don't know the supplier, then what we will do? So we will ask for the quotation. Let us assume you are buying a car. So what you'll do? You will go. I mean, you will not go around. You will ask for the quotations. Quotations means price. Quote means price in SAP. You will ask for the quotations from multiple vendors or suppliers or business partners. Okay, the terminology is different, but the meaning is same. Quotation. Okay, you will ask for the quotation from multiple suppliers, and when these suppliers they provide the quotation, you will compare it. You will compare based on the price. Okay, now this process is called as a request for quotation. A request for quotation, where you will request for the quotation from the suppliers, and then you will do a price comparison, and then later on you will decide on one particular vendor. Okay, so this process is called as a source of supply determination and vendor selection, where you will select the vendor. The next phase is your order processing, where you will club your purchasing equation, this is your requirement plus vendor, and you will create a purchase order. This is your purchase order. So this is your purchase requisition. It's an internal document. Internal document means uh, there is no legal validity of this particular document outside your premises. Okay, but your purchase order is an external document. Okay, that means you or your vendor can approach any legal authority and take legal action against, based on this purchase order. Okay, and then next is your purchase order monitoring, where you will follow up with the vendor. Okay, what is the status of the vendor, how many metals you are saying you are supplying, and so on. This is called the purchase order monitoring. Next, once the vendor supplies the material, you will do a goods receipt. Goods receipt is a process where you receive the materials into your premises. Okay, this is a goods receipt. Okay, so this goods receipt is done based on the purchase order which you have created. Okay, and when you receive the metals, your stock of that particular metal will be increased automatically. Okay, and a notification will be sent to the concerned department. Okay, saying that so and so metals have arrived. Okay, so this is again your example of your real-time business processing. So whenever a goods receipt is done, a notification will be sent to the concerned department. Okay, and then the next phase is your invoice verification. Now okay, let us assume you are buying something. Okay, when you are buying something, you will make the payment only and only when you receive the bill. Okay, in layman language it is called as a bill. Okay, but in technical terminologies it is called as a invoice verification or invoice receipt. Okay, now this invoice or this bill has to be created in the system. Okay, because the FI team will be able to make the payment only and only if there is a invoice bill created in the system. If there is no bill, then the system will not allow you to make the payment. Okay, so your invoice verification or invoice receipt is a process of creating that bill in the SAP system. Okay, and here it checks. There is a three-way check in the invoice verification. So it will check the quantity from the GR. It will check the price from the purchase order, and it will check the bill which is given by the vendor. If all the three, okay, the physical copy, your GR quantity from the your quantity from the GR, and the price from the PO, if all the three are matching, then only the system will allow you to create an invoice. If there is any mismatch, then based on the system settings, okay, the system will behave. Okay, so this process of creating an invoice in the system is called as an invoice receipt or an invoice verification. Okay, so once this invoice verification is created, we will make the payment against this invoice. So The process of making the payment is called as a payment processing. So this is the complete cycle of a SAP MM. Okay, now out of this, okay, so this requirement determination, ideally or typically, this should be created by the concerned department, because they know what to be procured, when to be procured, how much to be procured. We as a purchasing department, we don't know that. Okay, we know only to buy, we don't know what to buy. Okay, so ideally this has to be created by the concerned department. If the concerned department doesn't know how to create the purchase equation, then they should provide the information to the purchasing department, and the purchasing department will create that purchasing document on behalf of them. And then from here, source of supply determination to goods receipt. These are the core MM activities. Core MM activities. Okay, and this invoice verification, this is a bridge between MM and FI. MM and FI. Okay. Now invoice verification, typically in any project, it is handled by FICO consultant. We don't play any part in this invoice verification, but invoice verification is part of a MM training. Okay, and then payment processing, this is a strictly FI transaction, because there are some financial transactions happening, and very few people are allowed to perform this transaction. This is purely or strictly FI transaction. This is MM procurement cycle. Okay, now if you understand this procurement cycle, okay, then your MM training will be easy. If you don't understand this procurement cycle, then it will be a little bit difficult to understand the process, because this is what we handle in our day-to-day activities. We, in the sense, the MM team. Any questions from anybody?
Hi guys, please feel free to ask your questions in the questions tab. We'll answer them as we progress ahead with the session. Please feel free.
Okay, next. Next is, as a MM consultant, what are our activities? What we will do? Okay, what we will do. So our activities can be broadly categorized into configuration of or customizing, which I already discussed. Okay, then master data and transactional data. These are our core activities. Okay, what do you mean by configuration and customizing? Config means configuring the client's requirement, such as enterprise structure of any business, okay, and other settings required for running the business. These are your standard settings. Customizing is fulfilling the client's requirement which are not in standard. Okay, which are not in standard, those are called as customizing, like printouts, reports, and so on. Customizing is usually done by coding, ABAPer coding. This is your configuration and customizing. Next is master data. What is a master data? Okay, so we have bought iPhone 14. Now this iPhone 14 is a material which we have bought. Now this is called as a master data. Okay, now this iPhone 14, the configuration or the specification for this iPhone 14 doesn't change that frequently, or in a sense it doesn't change at all. Okay, so in future, let us say after 2 years or 3 years, or whenever the Apple is going to launch another version or another model, that that specification is going to change. Okay, at the time we will create a new iPhone called iPhone 15 or whatever the name is there. Okay, so unless until that is happening, the specification of iPhone 14 remains the same. So these kind of data where there is no change for a longer period of time is called as a master data. Your materials is a master data. Your vendor, that means from whom you are going to buy, this is a master data. Okay, your supplier doesn't change that frequently. Okay, once in a while, if at all this is changing his location, then there's a need to change the address, or else there is no change in the vendor master at all. So these kind of data where there is no change is called as a master data. Okay. Now, master data is data that remains unchanged over a period of time. It contains information that is always needed. Okay. Now, if you want to buy, let us say, I mean, in our case, we want to buy a laptop. Okay. Now that laptop, okay, we will buy. Okay, based on the specification, we will buy that specification. It has some meaning. Okay. Now, if there is no laptop, then what we will buy? Okay. So because we don't know what to buy, right? So and then if you want to store something, then you need to have a master data. That means if you want to store means that there is some unique identification. If there is unique identification, then only you will be able to segregate your iPhone 13, iPhone 14, Redmi, Vivo, OnePlus, so on so, Samsung, so on so. Okay, now there is some unique identification. Okay, so this is called the master data. Okay, for example, metal master, vendor master contains record contains not only general information but also purchase order related information. Master data can only be entered and changed by authorized users. Now, why these authorized users? Okay, now let us assume. So I have an authorization to create a metal master. Okay, let us say for the same iPhone 14, we will create the metal master. So I'll create the metal master using the description: Apple iPhone 14, some screen and some RAM. Okay, 256 RAM or whatever the RAM is. Let us say person B, he is also having authorization to create a metal master. He will create the metal master saying iPhone 14, RAM so and so, screen so and so, Apple. Third person, he will create the same app, same phone which says 126 or 256 GB RAM. Okay, Apple iPhone so and so screen. Now for the same material, there are three different item codes or three different descriptions. To avoid, so this is what is the duplicacy. To avoid this duplicacy or redundancy, okay, only few people or a group of people will be having authorization to maintain this master data. Okay, now there are various master data in MM, like your metal master, metal vendor master, info records and conditions. What are these info records and conditions? We'll see later on when if at all you join the training, we'll discuss this in detail. Okay, and then the next is your transactional data. What do you mean by transactional data? So we have purchased a iPhone. Now that particular event is a transaction. Okay, transaction which uses the mobile, I mean which uses a master data called mobile. Okay, and that particular event or transaction, it has some validity. Okay, so that particular document is valid only when that process is completed. So once that process is completed, there is no legal validity of that particular transaction or event. Now this transaction or event or it is called as a document, and there is a unique number for that document in SAP. Now these kind of transactions, okay, are called as a transactional data. Okay, now transactional data are those data which happen in a day-to-day transactions in the business process. Transactional data is data related to a single business event. It's an event. It's a process which is happening, such as purchase requisition. For example, when you create a requisition, SAP creates an electronic document for that particular transaction, for that particular event. Okay, there are various transactional data in SAP MM, like purchase requisition, this is your requirement, purchase order, goods receipt, goods issue, invoice verification, and physical inventory, to name a few transactions here. Okay, now, so these are our activities. These are our activities: configuration and customizing, master and transactional data. Now we in the sense, any consultant, not only SAP MM consultant, any SAP consultant is surviving because of this configuration and customizing. If this was not there, then there was no need of any SAP consultant. This is our bread and butter earning. Okay, and then this year of transactional data and master data? Who will create this data? Okay, typically this transactional data and master data has to be created by the business. It is not our responsibility to create this transactional data and master data. Now you may ask question, okay, now if we don't perform this, then why should we learn this? Okay, now I'll just give an example here. Now you are learning SAP MM, okay, and I'm supposed to be an SAP trainer, okay, if at all you join this. Now I can teach you SAP MM only and only if I know what is MM. If I don't know what is SAP MM, how would I teach you? Correct? Same thing happens with the SAP software also. Now the business, they know how to run their business. Okay, they don't know how SAP works. So unless until you as a functional consultant tell them how to run the process in the system, they will not do it. Okay, so they will run their business. Okay, they are experts in that, but they don't know how to run the processes in SAP. So it is your duty to help them or teach them in understanding those processes. Okay, so unless until you don't teach them properly or thoroughly, they will not perform those transactions in the system. And if they don't perform the transactions in the system, then there will be a question mark on SAP. They will say that SAP is not up to mark or it is not good. Then there will be a question mark on you. You, in a sense, any SAP consultant, not only MM, it can be for any SAP consultant. Okay, so because of this reason, you should know in and out of transactional data, in and out of your master data, so that you know what is SAP MM thoroughly, because you will be a subject matter expert of a SAP MM. So if you want to become a SAP MM SME, you should know in and out of SAP MM. Okay, now any questions here? Now this is what I had for today. Okay, now if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, Siddharth, can you take over now? Thanks people. Thanks for attending.
Thank you so much,
Hi,
Nishant, for those insightful sessions. I'll now hand over the mic to Mr. Sunil, and he would answer any questions you have regarding your career progression related to SAP, or how you should take up SAP training, or any questions or queries that you have related to this session. We'll be glad to answer them here.
Good morning, everyone. Sunil here. See, we are all. This is just an awareness program to make people understand that there is a optimum opportunities and wide opportunities in area of SAP consulting. SAP consulting is one of the highest paid platform where people get paid a big amount. Their career progression is exponential with a lot of opportunities abroad. So a lot of people who are in domain core industries in manufacturing industry or service industry, they don't get that kind of pay scale, or they don't get that kind of growth. So definitely people always want to change their career to better career opportunity. So SAP offers you that kind of leverage wherein your experience 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years is calculated and carry forwarded. It doesn't get wasted. You are not doing something technical. SAP is not about programming or coding or nothing technical about it. It's purely functional consulting. So definitely there are a lot of opportunities wherein you can look into a high paid career job opportunity here, and we will definitely help you. We have been in this industry for last 17 years now, and we have trained more than 6,000 to 7,000 people. We have placed them in the industry, and today most of them, almost 30-35% people are abroad. So look into it. We are not compelling or asking you to come and join us today, but definitely we are trying to create that awareness that there is a lot of opportunities, there is a lot of gap between demand and supply in the area of consulting today. And SAP is not a new company. It is a 50-year-old organization with almost 65% market share today. almost 4,27,000 companies worldwide already have implemented SAP. There are more than 18,000 plus top IT companies who are partner to SAP. There are every transaction today. You talk about maximum 90% of the transactions happening in the world are somewhere linked or affected by SAP, whether it is banking transactions or supply chain management related or airline. You talk about ticketing or you talk about anything today. Lot of transaction, almost all transactions are linked with SAP today. So without SAP today, if there is the SAP comes down, there will be a lot of financial implications. The world will come to standstill. Today, Facebook or Google stop, nothing is going to affect financially. But today, SAP, a lot of businesses are dependent on SAP today. SAP is very prominent and very primary requirement today in most of the industry, most of the bigger organizations, even government organizations today, whether it is Indian Postal Department, Indian Railway, you talk about Tata Complete organization or Reliance Complete organization, they are using SAP. So please think about it in case if you are not happy with your current job, you're not happy with the kind of salary that you're getting, and if you think your friends in IT industries are getting better job opportunity and better salary package, then definitely we can help you on that. Please feel free whenever you want to come down, you can meet us, we can connect over a phone call, we can guide you on one-on-one basis also. So now if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the forum. It might help you, it might help the others as well.
Before somebody asks any question, I would like to make some statements here. Okay. Now, as Sunil said, okay, so SAP is used across industries. So just to give an example, HP uses SAP. Okay, Kingfisher Airlines, what are supposed to be best airlines, it used SAP. Okay, your Reliance, it uses SAP. FIFA, if you know FIFA, that uses SAP. Okay, your ICICI Bank, it uses SAP. So it is not like I mean, almost as Sunil said, 60% of the business is handled by SAP. Okay, now one more statement I would like to make. So when I was learning SAP, okay, couple of decades ago, okay, my trainer told me one statement. He told that for the next 10 years, there will be not much competition to SAP, and I would like to reiterate that statement. Okay, so I will make the same statement to my students today also. Okay, so at least for the next 10 years, there is not much competition for SAP. So this is in progress from last 3 decades, and I'm not seeing any tough competition from any other softwares. Okay, now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunil and Mr. Nishant, for the guidance. I hope the participants would have enjoyed the session and they would be keen to know more about SAP. They would be willing to take up SAP as a career path and have a promising career in the field of ERP. As you know, things are getting digitalized day in and day out. The survival of industries without technology is next to impossible. So guys, please do consider it, and we are always there to help you. You can reach out to us on the details given below. You can also visit our website sap.springpeople.com, and you can always reach out to Mr. Sunil as well on his contact details shared in the screen right now. So it was nice having you here. Hope to see you again in our next session. Until then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.